morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. Welcome back to yet another episode of the Locked On Sound podcast. I'm flying solo on this one today, so there is nobody joining me, but that does not mean it's going to be a bad episode. You're stuck with me, but we're going to give you guys some good information today. And as you guys saw from the title, we're going to be talking about the top 5 dog foods that you can buy on a budget. So, there's a lot of things that go into this. There's a lot of different things that I looked at. So I'm going to give you guys a rundown and some disclaimers on that as we get going. I looked at protein, calcium, vitamin B12, vitamin E, glucosamine, or glucosamine, however you want to say it, chondroitin, and of course, price. So I'm not a vet by any means. I don't know how to say these words, but what is important is that I contacted multiple vets and people who work in the veterinary field to discuss what they think of each of these food brands here. And remember, choosing the best dog food for your hunting companion depends on their individual needs and activity level. Consulting a veterinarian for personalized recommendations is always recommended by Locked On Sound. Additionally, consider exploring strategies like mixing different food options to create a blend that meets your desired nutrient profile and budget constraints. So, with that disclaimer out of the way, let's jump right into this. At number 5 on this top 5 dog foods for dogs on a budget is Blue Buffalo Wilderness Chicken and Wholesome Grains Adult High Protein Dry Dog Food. Now, a disclaimer as I go through the Buffalo is that a lot of these Blue Buffalo foods have been linked to heart conditions in a couple different dog breeds. So, like I said, do your research, contact your veterinarian, do some research on your own. From what I read, this adult high protein dry dog food is one of their better ones that isn't linked to anything currently, but do your own research on that. I'm not a medical expert whatsoever, but this contains 33% protein from deboned chicken, and that deboned chicken part is important, and that's a pretty high percentage amount. It also contains 1.5% calcium, 125 mcgs per kilogram of vitamin B12, 400 IUs per kilogram of vitamin E, 275 milligrams per kilogram of glucosamine, 150 milligrams per kilogram of chondroitin, however you guys say it, chondroitin. And then its price for a 28-pound bag is $43.79, coming in at $1.56 per pound, which is one of our more expensive dog foods on the list. Actually, I think it's the most expensive per pound by about 50 cents. Blue Buffalo Wilderness provides a grain-inclusive formula, which is all from real chicken as the primary protein source. While it's most expensive on the list, like I said, it does boast good overall nutrition and might be worth considering if your budget allows for it. Like I said, I was advised by local vets that Blue Buffalo is currently being studied and linked to issues regarding heart failure. This is certainly something to consider when choosing your dog food brand. Heart failure and heart issues is not something you want in your best pals. Coming at number 4 is Kirkland Signature's Nature's Domain Beef, Lamb, and Sweet Potato Recipe Grain-Free Dry Dog Food. This contains 32% protein from beef meal and lamb meal, 1.4% calcium, 112 B12, 500 vitamin E, 500 glucosamine, 400 chondroitin. I will never be able to say that, and I'm sorry. For now, we'll just call that con. And the price comes in at $42 for a 40-pound bag, putting it at $1.07 per pound. Now that $1.07 per pound is much better than the Blue Buffalo by almost 50 cents. Kirkland Signature offers a grain-free formula with good protein content and essential nutrients. While it exceeds your price point slightly, if we're looking at $1, I was looking at about $1 per pound. It might be worth considering because you can mix it with a more affordable option to achieve your budget and desired nutrients. So that's definitely a good one to keep in mind. The next one's going to have a little caveat for it too. It's Tractor Supply's TSC High Performance Grain-Free Dog Food, chicken and salmon flavored. We're still at about that 30% from chicken meal and salmon meat. Its calcium matches the other two. It does not have B12 listed, which is concerning. Vitamin E at 300, glucosamine at 600, chondroitin at 400, The good thing about this one is its price is $26 for a 40-pound bag, putting it at about 65 cents per pound. While the B12 vitamins are not listed, this Tractor Supply formula does feature a decent protein content and higher levels of glucosamine compared to the other options we've looked at. At its price point, it's the most affordable on the list. However, make sure you guys research the B12 content and potentially, supplement it differently if you're choosing that option. That brings us to our number 2 on the list, which is the Diamond Naturals High Performance All Life Stages Formula Dry Dog Food. Still at about that 30%, at 32% from chicken meal and lamb meal for protein, 1.5% calcium, 60 mcgs per kilogram of B12, which is definitely lower than preferred. Its vitamin E is at 500, same with its glucosamine, and its chondroitin is at 400 milligrams per kilogram. So we're looking pretty good there. And this is sitting at about 79 cents per pound. Diamond Naturals does offer a decent protein content and essential nutrients as a budget-friendly price. While the vitamin B12 level is lower than we preferred, it does tick most of the boxes and comes in just under 75 cents, which is pretty good. I will take that for sure. Now, that brings us to our number 1 choice, Purina Pro Plan Sport All Life Stages Performance Dry Formula Dog Food. This comes in at 30% protein from chicken meal and soybean meal, 1.5% calcium, 175 mcgs per kilogram of B12, and 500 IUs per kilogram of vitamin E. Its glucosamine again comes in at 500 milligrams per kilogram, which is great. Its chondroitin comes in at 400 milligrams per kilogram, which is great. And its price point is not bad at all at $35.99. That puts us at about 78 cents per pound. Now, Purina Pro Plan Sport does provide a high protein content and essential nutrients for active dogs. While other protein sources, chicken meal and soybean meal, might not be as premium as others, it does offer a budget-friendly option for good overall nutrition and lands under your price point. So the big thing with this is it might not be the best source of protein, being that chicken meal and soybean meal. Soybean meal is not recommended for sport dogs, but at the price point at 78, it's vitamin E, glucosamine, and chondroitin levels at 400 milligrams and 500 milligrams. It's a good bargain for the price, so I would definitely recommend that one on the list if you guys can afford it. So that will give us our top 5 dog foods on a budget. These were fairly well researched. There's a lot of conflicting data around there. So like I said, consult your veterinarian, do your own research. We're not sponsored by any of these companies, so no bias is there. Just wanted to make sure you guys had this information. There's also all this information laid out in a blog post on lockedonsound.com. So if you didn't catch all the numbers and we're writing them down while we went through it here on the podcast, you can get those on our website. So make sure to check those out, guys. Appreciate you listening and have a great day.